Greetings and welcome to our midweek offering in our series of weekly devotionals as we move through our look at a passage in Paul's first letter to the Corinthians. Now, I remember my parents warning me sometimes about things I was doing wrong. If you remember as a kid, maybe you make like a funny face and your parents would say something like, if you're not careful, your face is going to get stuck like that. So don't do it. And I think sometimes, parents sort of instill some maybe unreasonable fears in their kids. But, I think sometimes those fears are a good thing. I mean, you don't want your kids running with scissors or playing with matches or touching a hot stove. So you sort of want them to be afraid of those things, of the consequences of what will happen if they do certain things. So, a little bit of fear might be a good thing. And I mention this because of some of the language that Paul uses. It's kind of scary. He says, talks about God punishing and destroying people that are not faithful. But he says, and do not complain as some of them did and were destroyed by the destroyer. But these things happened to them to serve as an example, and they were written down to instruct us, on whom the ends of the ages have come. So if you think you're standing, watch out that you do not fall. These sort of scary passages, I think, serve the same purpose as warning signs, like warning signs on the road. Bridge is icy, or slippery when wet, or road construction. These signs are meant to instill in us a little bit of apprehension that, if we drive faster than what the speed limit is, it's going to be unsafe and dangerous, and we may get in an accident. And so those signs are meant to instill a little bit of fear and apprehension so that we don't come to a bad end. And that's the main message that Paul is trying to instill in his followers. That sin, that bad acts, bad actions, bad behavior has consequences. That bad actions lead to bad habits that lead eventually to a bad end. And Paul doesn't want his followers to come to a bad end, to suffer those consequences. And so Paul doesn't really want to scare us or scare his followers, but he wants to save his followers. And so perhaps we might reflect on this passage and think of, what are some of the signs, the warning signs, the alarms that maybe we conveniently ignore? Some of the ways maybe that God tries to reach us and say to us, you're on the wrong path. Your actions are going to have a bad end. And some of those things maybe are a little bit scary, but they're worth paying attention to, because ultimately our God, I believe, is not a God who wants to frighten us, but a God who wants to save us. Amen.